Jana Colosino. I am the Assistant Site Administrator for the North Central region of Connecticut Landmarks, if that's not a mouthful. This walk at the Butler McCook house in the Butler McCook property without talking about Frances. So she was a really integral figure in saving the Amos Bull House, which is the building I'm right in front of. It used to stand on Main Street. Frances claims she walked by it every day of her life. And Frances said, if you can find the money and support to save it, you can move it to the back end of my property. And that's what happened. But sadly, that took place about 7 months after Frances passed away. Besides Frances McCook, Hannah Bunce Watson, born in December of 1749, died in 1807. She became the publisher of the Connecticut Current at a remarkable moment in American history. And she became the editor and the printer of this paper. She wrote some articles herself, the first being her husband's obituary. And she used the paper to spread news of the revolution across the 13 colonies. And I want to talk next as we're heading to the Hartford Public Library. Caroline Hewins radicalized the world of library science. So she implemented innovations that changed libraries. She moved Hartford from being subscription to being a free public library. She started the first ever children's room at a library, and that became a model for libraries all over the entire country. She wanted to bring in appropriate books that would inspire young imaginations. Carrie Saxon Perry. In 2002, she became the president of the NAACP Hartford chapter. We've talked about Elizabeth Colt. We're going to talk about her philanthropic work here in the city. She used her position and wealth to play a leading role in countless Connecticut religious, social, art, and charitable organizations, which earned her the affectionate nickname, the First Lady of Hartford. She alone is credited with raising over $1 million in a 2-week period for the Hartford Soldiers Aid Society. This young Connecticut woman named Frances Ellen Burr attended the Women's Rights Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. And there she was inspired by speakers like Susan B. Anthony, and she vowed to return to Connecticut to be an advocate for the cause of women's suffrage. Katherine Houghton Hepburn, not the actress, but her mother. Inspired by Emmeline Pankhurst, Houghton Hepburn became a champion of women's rights, suffrage, and universal access to birth control. Notably, prior to and after the ratification of the 19th Amendment, she dedicated a lot of energy to the fight for access to birth control, and that is the cause for which maybe she's even better known than suffrage. The writer Anne Plato. As a young African-American girl writing in the 19th century, we have very little biographical information on Plato, and most of her life is known from only her only published work, essays. It was in 1841, at the age of 16, she published this only known book. Her essays stress the importance of education and of leading a pious and industrious life. And the book contains some poetry and biographies of departed female friends, but nothing of her life is known after that book was published. To talk about Lydia Sigourney, who was also, before she married Lydia Howard Huntley, an American poet, author, publisher during the early and mid-19th century, commonly known as the Sweet Singer of Hartford. One of the women who was particularly taken with the Sweet Singer of Hartford was Charlotte Perkins Gilman, was a committed reformer, intellectual, and feminist whose contributions to the 20th century thought resulted in her designation as the 6th most influential woman of her time. Thank you for coming, and hope to see you on a walk next year.